Hey folks, it's your Beast Building Bud on the Ready to Die channel back for another Full Build Friday. This rounds out April, giving way to anime. So I'm going to make the most of this one, which might be a little controversial, because rather than building a proper character, I'm assembling a player character build for a Pokemon. Specifically for Rillaboom, the drummer Pokemon. Some friends floated the suggestion my way, and folks on the Discord responded to it, so I hope you'll like the video and maybe subscribe to the channel while you're at it. Either way, let's get into the build goals and make the most of this monkey business. Without getting too tangled in the trappings of Pokemon, Rillaboom is the final figure in an evolutionary line of grass-type pocket monsters. It's known as the drummer Pokemon and lives up to its name by carrying a drum made from a stump on its back. When it plays this drum, it can cause its roots to grow from the stump to attack foes. Passively, the Rillaboom has access to Overgrow, which pumps up the power of its grass moves when its health is low, and it may also have Grassy Surge, which creates grassy terrain whenever Rillaboom enters the battlefield. Its signature move is Drum Beating, in which it bangs on its drum to summon roots that thrash enemies and lower their speed. It can also unleash Razor Leaves or summon a Wood Hammer to deal heavy damage with a hint of recoil. Outside of numerous heavy physical attacks, it also wields a number of sound-based moves that can damage or debilitate enemies, such as Boom Burst and Screech. Finally, Rillaboom can become a true titan by entering the Gigantamax state, which also causes its lone drum to grow into a full kit. In total, Rillaboom is a powerful combatant with a focus on the physical side of things, though it is still able to control plant life and foliage. It is also a highly capable performer, using its music to harm or weaken foes. Sometimes this Kong can become a true king, growing into a gigantic titan that wields a full drum kit instead of only a single drum. Getting into it, you're probably not surprised to learn that I'm using the Awakened Animal ancestry. At 6'11", I'm going to have Rillaboom be a medium awakened animal, but we are going to deviate slightly and not use the climbing heritage. Instead, we're using the Ardonde versatile heritage to simulate Rillaboom's grass typing. From this, Rillaboom can take the Spring Soul ancestry feat, which will give him the Tanglevine cantrip to trip up and slow foes, based on the extra effects of its drum beating. As for the ability boost, Rillaboom increases its Constitution and Wisdom, while taking a flaw to Intelligence. The free boost here will go to Strength, as Rillaboom's attack is its highest stat. When it comes to the Rillaboom's background, I think Musical Prodigy is an easy pick, given Rillaboom's, and its evolutionary lines, association with music and drums specifically. Through this pick, the Rillaboom becomes trained in performance and music lore, while it also gains the Virtuistic Performer's skill feat. Obviously, we'll choose Percussion for this option, giving the Rillaboom a bonus on such performance checks. As for its ability boost, the Rillaboom gains a boost to Dexterity, and applies the free boost here to its Strength. As for its class, I had a few very different options that I was considering before ultimately settling on the Barbarian class. This comes with a boost to Strength, making this the first time we've used the Awakened Animal for April, and not had to contend with that flaw to Intelligence. All barbarians have an instinct that fuel their rage, and for the Rillaboom, it's going to be the Elemental Instinct, specifically the Wood Instinct. This causes it to become concealed while raging as leaves and the like swirl about it, and will also let it use kinetic impulses that he may pick up even while raging. For its class feat, Rillaboom will start with Raging Intimidation, referencing some sonic debuffing abilities such as Screech. Though, I suppose that Intimidating Glare that this grants doesn't quite fit that idea. Barbarians are a class that don't get a ton of skills. Athletics comes naturally to them, but we'll have to specifically make him trained in Acrobatics, Intimidation, and Nature at first level here, and that's all he really gets on that end. He rounds out his ABCs with ability boost to his Strength, Dexterity, Constitution, and Intelligence. Dexterity and Intelligence are pretty good there, we don't need to do a bunch with them, and Strength will be the Rillaboom's primary combat stat. I envision it using an Earthbreaker to resemble its Wood Hammer move, and that is decidedly a strength-based weapon. However, Constitution will also be important, especially as we get deeper into this build. Before we can fully take advantage of that though, we will use the Wild Mimic dedication at 2nd level. Its benefit might be minuscule for the time being, but this is going to be an investment in the build. We'll expand upon it very shortly. The skill feat, Combat Climber, is based on the simian shape of the supersized slammer, letting it scale cliff sides while remaining totally combat capable. 3rd level then starts off with Furious Footfalls, and an increase to intimidation through his skill increase. The Ancestral Paragon General feat allows Rillaboom to take the Grove Harbored Ancestry feat. This grants a bonus on saves against effects with a wood trait, which is a nice little nod to the fact that being a grass type makes the Rillaboom resistant to other grass type moves. From that Wild Mimic dedication, Rillaboom can gain Gorilla Stance at 4th level, giving it an attack option aside from its wood hammer, so that it can use moves like Slam or Endeavor. This Primate Percussionist then picks up Fascinating Performance for its skill feat. And while I like that association with music, it's worth remembering that Perform has the Concentrate trait, so it'll have to do this before it rages if it wants to do it at all. We will start 5th level with ability boost to Rillaboom's Strength, Constitution, Wisdom, and Charisma. This level up makes it an expert with its weapons as well as with its athletic skill. Since we used a versatile heritage, Rillaboom can uniquely take the Late Awakener Ancestry feat, which allows it to take the Climbing Animal heritage and gain all the benefits that come with it, primarily the climb speed that it affords. This build actually looks at an idea for Gigantamaxing a bit at 6th level with the Primal Proportions class feat. This is one of the reasons I had it start as medium, as it can become large to this feat or eventually huge, though this is something it'll have to do before it rages once again. It'll stick with the climbing options for its skill feat and take the Lead Climber feat so that our Rillaboom can aid the young Grookis and Thwackis that follow after it while clambering across cliffs. Barbarians see a big ol' boost to damage at 7th level thanks to both Instinct Specialization and Weapon Specialization, though they also become a Juggernaut and a Master in Athletics. Following that increase in Fortitude, Rillaboom here uses Toughness for extra hit points and survivability, letting it hang in the fight longer to deliver one hell of a drum solo. With 2 feats from the Wild Mimic under its belt, Rillaboom is free to take Kineticist dedication at 8th level, once more choosing the Wood element. This comes with a few basic abilities, the flashy of which is going to be a non-scaling elemental blast that can deal bludgeoning or vitality damage. It isn't perfect, but this could possibly represent the Razor Leaf move. Oh, it also becomes trained in survival thanks to this feat as well. For our build's skill feat, Intimidating Prowess allows Rillaboom to make the most of its monkey might, bringing it to bear in a fearsome display. 9th level for our Mighty Monkey Minstrel means it gains resistance to creatures or effects with the Wood trait, and also becomes an expert in reflex saves. A skill increase makes it a Master Intimidation, before it grabs Kizidhar Magic. The Entangling Flora this grants feels like it could fit in with the Rillaboom's Grassy Surge ability, but being innate spells, you will once again have to cast them while you're not in a rage if you want to make use of them. For 10th level, we start off with ability boost to Strength, Constitution, Wisdom, and Charisma, and then take Through the Gate. This means that the Rillaboom can then take Hail of Splinters, with the piercing damage it deals being marginally more accurate to the Razor Leaves that it uses. Battle Cry comes in as Rillaboom's skill feat here, which will let it demoralize an enemy before a fight even starts. Because who has the time to waste a turn on a move that doesn't deal damage? Moving on from there, 11th level grants Mighty Rage, and a skill increase to Performance, which will make Rillaboom an expert of it. On the general feat side of things, Incredible Initiative seems handy in representing its speed, which is pretty far from its lowest stat. Certainly better than its special attack and defense. Wild Mimic rears its pretty head once more at 12th level as Rillaboom takes Roar Mimicry, giving it an area sonic effect inspired by its Boom Burst or Uproar moves. This lends more credence to the use of this archetype, while also fitting the creature quite well. For its skill feat, Talent Envy is a newer option that uses the performance skill, background skill feat, and the investment in intimidation that this build has, which is a nice little intersection of options. Your favorite lucky level 13 comes with medium armor expertise, greater juggernaut, and weapon mastery. It also features a skill increase that makes it a master in the performance skill. Our Wooden Walloper wields another buffing effect in the form of Wooden Mantle, which grants a single casting of Mantle of the Unwavering Heart. I personally like the mantle spells as they come with a range of options that I think are pretty neat, and let you adapt to the situation you are facing. But that might not be your style, so let me know. Speaking of situations though, 14th level features Expert Kinetic Control for our Foliage Festooned Fighter, a feat that merely increases the effectiveness of our kinetic abilities. Another option that enhances the base abilities of our creature here is Quick Jump, letting Rillaboom bound about as a single action rather than needing to spend 2 on it. We receive another array of ability boosts at 15th level, which we will apply to Strength, Constitution, Wisdom, and Charisma. The Rillaboom gets another big damage buff with Greater Weapon Specialization, and receives Indomitable Will. Additionally, becoming a legend in Intimidation means that it gains Scare to Death, while it takes Fleet for its actual general feat, increasing the low speed that awakened animals seem cursed with. Speeding on from there, Rillaboom gains Advanced Element Control at 16th level to take Sanguivolent Roots, since I didn't see any other impulses that specifically summon roots to resemble his drum-beating move. Then, akin to Talent Envy from before, Rillaboom can take Triumphant Boast for its skill feat, as an option that makes use of both its Intimidation and Performance. On that topic of performance, Rillaboom becomes a legend in it at 17th level, while also gaining Perception Mastery and Revitalizing Rage. Its last ancestry feat is Wood Ward for the protection that it provides, allowing the Rillaboom to live a bit more dangerously, like the animal that all drummers are. While something I originally struggled with, I sought to demonstrate at least the idea of Overgrow with Desperate Wrath. Rather than boosting grass moves specifically, this feat enhances standard attack rolls, which feels like as good an adaptation of the ability as I can get in Pathfinder. We'll then follow on our new legendary skill with Legendary Performer, so that Rillaboom here can put on a sold-out concert with ease. As the end draws near, Rillaboom gains Armor Mastery and Devastator, as well as a skill increase that makes him a legend in Athletics. With the lack of healing in Rillaboom's kit, I have it using Robust Health as its general feat to enhance the healing that it receives from its trainer, or companions. That brings us to 20th level, which starts with ability boost to Strength, Dexterity, Constitution, and Charisma. Unfortunately, I'm not super sold on the capstone feats here, but I settled on Quaking Stomp, with the idea that the Rillaboom can use roots and the like to shake the very earth. But while his class feat plumbs the earth, his Cloud Jump claims the sky, letting him sail through it and into the thick of his foes before unleashing a devastating display. The question though is getting there in the first place. For that, we'll need to talk playstyle. The Rillaboom is equipped with a few bolstering abilities that it'll want to use before it rages, such as Primal Proportions or Wooden Mallet. Its best bet will still be straight up melee combat, but it does have some means of manipulating the battlefield, with the likes of Entangling Flora or Sanguivolent Roots, even if their DCs aren't always the best. You'll want to save this for larger groups of weaker enemies, and settle for a more straightforward smackdown against other sorts of adversaries. Beyond that, if you're playing in a free archetype game, you'll mainly want to just gain more Barbarian feats, maybe using the likes of Renewed Vigor to enhance its survivability, or Silencing Strike to stun foes and slow them that way. One particular feat that I would look at is Moment of Clarity, given the number of concentrate abilities in its kit, and then follow that up with a Bard dedication, to maybe play into the Rillaboom being a drummer. It's something I avoided in the baseline build because it doesn't really have enough buffing effects to really warrant its inclusion, but it feels fun and appropriate for the creature. Now I think I've got this drum beat, but maybe I don't quite have the rhythm. Let's review what we've built and see if the kit's complete. Rillaboom is an Ardande Awakened Animal Barbarian with the Wooden Elemental Instinct and the Musical Prodigy background. This ancestry feels particularly apropos when it comes to representing Pokemon, and its background, as well as its virtuistic performance skill feats, pair nicely with the drummer epithet. I managed to figure out Desperate Wrath to cover the spirit of Overgrow, while Entangling Flora might work for Grassy Surge. This Salmonate spell, alongside Sanguivolent Roots, suits the effect of its drum-beating move, with the former including slowing effects, but lacking the damage. Now while it lacks the recoil, he straight up wields an Earthbreaker in place of his Wood Hammer, and the Barbarian ensures that he will be landing heavy blows. Demoralizing foes through raging Intimidation will be useful for his debuffing Sonic moves, while the Wild Mimic Archetype and its Roar mimicry is handy for its Uproar and Boom Burst moves. I also managed to fit in the Gigantamax feature through the Primal Proportions feat, which eventually allows the Rillaboom to become huge in every sense of the word. Our dear deaf dendrologist doles out damage in droves, dishing out drubbings to delinquents and drum kits in a delightful but destructive display. Let me know what you think of this build, and if you want to see more Pokemon builds in a comment. If you like what you see here and want more, check out the Monster Monday blog, which is linked below along with the Twitter and Discord. Thanks for watching, and have a fantastic Friday.
Because I ain't got rhythm! Would you just go join the band?